What's up, children? Coming at you with another trade recap. I'm not sure what the title is quite yet, but today was a pretty solid day. I was able to catch a double-digit RR movement. We took two trades today. First one was pretty normal. Second one was a pretty exciting move, but they were both textbook entries. And today we resulted in a total net PNL. I'll actually bring this up, make sure. It might not be showing anymore, actually, unfortunately. Let me see if it pops up. I don't like showing it on my computer because I accidentally doxed myself one time and I had to uninstall the video. Okay, boom. So daily P&L across 3 accounts. I'm getting a phone call. Horrible timing. Oh, come on, show it, you slimy bastard. Dude, you slimy bastard. Is it gonna show? Hold on, let me try to turn down my brightness a little bit. Oh, come on. Focus. 2,100 across 3 accounts for the day. And then I can also show the executions because I took videos of those. Here's me executing on the first trade I'm about to show you guys. You can see on the time it was 10:25. Whatever, you can kind of tell. And then here is the second execution, which was the longer movements with arrows that show you where I bought at. I think you saw it for like a second. You can kind of see when I tilt it like that. I don't think I leaked anything. And that's why we do it that way. So with all that out of the way, just so you guys know I'm not a fucking liar, let's talk about the trades that we took today. So let me zoom out here. I ended up not actually taking a trade until, again, a little bit later, around 10:30. I didn't really have, dude, can we please just move this? Thank you. I ended up not taking a trade right away because we had news today at 7:30. So I wanted to give price a little bit to rebalance after news because actually, I said in my previous video, I didn't think that news was going to be super volatile today on speaking of Wednesday. But I mean, we had a really, really big move up created by news. So I just wanted to see how price reacted overall to news. And we reacted pretty bearish inversing this 15-minute BISI. We also did end up inversing this one right here. But we're going to talk about why I took the entries that I did take. The only thing to look at here is kind of just the areas of liquidity I have marked out. As I was getting into taking my entry, you can see I was a bit more diligent about the liquidity that I was targeting. And if we drop down into the 1 minute, this is the first entry that we took. So we, first of all, where are we at? We're over here. First thing that I'm always looking at is I'm looking for SMTs. So we put in a couple SMTs actually. We put in this one right here. This is a really small SMT, but I immediately, oh wait, no, this isn't it. I'm thinking of the next trade. Apologies. We put in this SMT right here where NASDAQ takes out these highs from 1017 and ES fails to do so. And normally I don't really care about these lower time frame SMTs, but the reason that I took this one a little bit more seriously is because we were trading inside of a 5-minute imbalance, a 5-minute SIBI, and we were within consequent encroachment of that range, and we were being respectful of it. So my mindset there was, I'm trying to think about the story that NASDAQ is trying to tell me. That's NASDAQ telling me that price wants to displace lower. So I see the SMT get put in. I see that we're trading within of a 5-minute fair value gap. Again, I see that SMT get put in with ES, and I feel like let me make sure that this is the right entry. Let me make sure I have it marked out perfectly because I don't want to say something incorrect. Yes. Right? What time is this? 10:25. Yeah, I entered on this candle right here, and I think did I enter off something I saw on the 2-minute or the 1 minute? Apologies that I don't remember every little reason for my entries. This kind of doubles as my journaling. I think what it was on this actually is I just hopped in relatively early. What did I enter? I honestly can't even tell you what I entered on here. I think it was just the SMT and the fair value gap, because this was actually where my entry was. So what it looks like is I prematurely guessed that there was going to be a change in the state, is what it's looking at on the 1 minute, because my stop loss was actually here. Again, if you don't believe me, here's me literally executing this trade. The only reason I don't have the execution candles up is because I just don't like how it looks. But that's literally the trade that I took. You can see I screen recorded this today at 10:25. I ended up moving my stop losses up actually because we didn't hit full take profit on this one. So let me make sure that I got this correct. We actually, let me pull this back for you guys. So that's actually not where I took profit at. I took profit at these lows right here. Yes, it was this wick right here that I ended up targeting, because we went Wick City on this one. And I actually, if you don't have me on Snapchat, add me on Snapchat, link in the description. This is the trade that kind of inspired me to dive back in, because if you looked, ouch, I missed out on 12R. I was confident that we were going to take out this liquidity, but price action got really, really choppy around this point right here. And I wasn't feeling great. It was bad psychology. I should have known that with the SMT and us being respectful of this BISI, and then this big move down, and then we create this liquidity, and there's all this liquidity resting. I should have had the confidence to hold this trade. But when I saw that $1,000 PNL across 3 accounts, I changed my tune pretty quick. On this trade, I only risked, I believe, about $400 initially, but I did add contracts to this trade. I'll show you similarly on the second trade. But I finished this trade, and because of the fact I had a losing day yesterday, I decided I wanted to take one more I wanted to take an A+ setup. I wasn't taking anything but an A+ setup for my next trade, and that is how I was able to catch this 200-point move. Again, I did not stay in for the whole move here. I only caught about 100 points of this move, but this move down continued for 215 points from my entry. So again, I'm not upset. I would have made I made $6,300 profit today, and I would have made 8,000. So I would have made an extra 3,000, because it would double my profit. And all I had to do was, once my draw on liquidity got taken, just look, it's so sick. If I would have waited for this candle to close and then move stops to break even, I would have still caught the rest of the move. So definitely something to think about. But let's talk about this trade here. I marked out major areas of buy side liquidity because we made a really big move after lunch hour. And did so again. This is 11 New York Standard Time. And then 12 o'clock hits, and then we have a really big move down, creating this liquidity. And then we also move up. So I'm looking at our range here. We're kind of in equilibrium, and I'm expecting to see a continuation move either to the upside or the downside. Again, I'm not totally sure which direction the market wants to move. I'm just kind of waiting for NASDAQ and ES to show their hand, which is what we get. So these are the same 4 levels on NASDAQ and ES. These are the same key levels of liquidity. And what I enter on is right here. ES takes out the highs created at 10:55. Look on the left of your screen, right? NASDAQ fails to do so. So that was initially where I entered. I entered on this candle right here. I remember this one a lot more vividly because I had to think about this one a lot. There was a 1 minute BISI that got inverted, and I entered on the retrace of that move. And then let me actually bring this down to where I actually took profit at so you can see. So when I marked it out, it was a 6.5R. On this trade, I only initially risked $100. Now, let me explain why. Because I had already had a profitable day, I was either looking for a big move, so I have a big win, or a small loss. I'm actually going to be back testing some higher RR strategies because I've won a lot of trades like this setup. Like for example, this setup over here ended up being a really big move, but that's not the point. We're going to do some back testing. You'll probably get a video on that. But again, we get an SMT because NASDAQ fails to take out these highs right here. And this is a higher time frame SMT, so it holds a lot more value to me. And then this is where ES does take out those highs. So I see this get put in. This is where I buy my first contracts at this point right here. We consolidate a little bit, and then what actually ends up happening is we put in another SMT. So this is just SMTs on SMTs. Oh wait, no, this is what I'm talking about right here. So we put in another SMT where NASDAQ is the lagging index. So it was these highs right here. Let me move these around a little bit. So we put in 2 SMTs, and at this point, my mouth is watering. I'm like, I know the displacement move is coming. And it's also that ES takes out these highs right here. So we actually had 3 SMTs in one trade. I mean, at this point, I'm like, come on, what are we doing, right? So we have an SMT put in right here as well. So at this point, you can see what my game plan was. We also had this 15-minute change of the state that I was looking at as part of my entry as well, which was right here. So we have a change in the state, and then we go up towards that 5-minute imbalance. That just looked like retracement to me. It's also another confluence that made me think, hey, we want to go lower. So you can see here is where we had sell 3 plus break even. So once we inversed this 1-minute SIBI, I think I was actually looking at the 2-minute for this. Let me double check. Yes. Okay. So right here at this SIBI, once we inversed it is where I wanted to sell 3 more contracts. So add to my position, right? Add to your winners, take from your losers. So I wanted to add to this position, then move my stops to break even, which is what I did. So we wick it here. I don't add yet. I wait until we close under, and I waited for a retracement back, and I added 3 contracts. I started with 1 or 2. I think it was 2. And then I added 3 contracts here and moved my stop losses to break even. But before that, when we had this displacement move down, I had already de-risked to these highs right here. Or was it the other? Hold on, let me double check which highs it was. I think actually, no, it was these highs. So all in all, it was actually a 15R, and if I would have let it run, it would have been a 30R, which is crazy to say out loud. And again, I have the video on my Snapchat. You don't believe me? Add me on Snapchat. I'm probably not going to put it in the video because if you don't believe me, I have the receipts. Anyways, I added 3 more contracts at this point right here, and then I just let this run. And the only thing that I can say looking back, because I wish I would have done differently, is I wish I would have thought, when we take these lows, is price going to want to reverse, or is price going to want to continue to take out all this liquidity resting here? Look at all this low resistance liquidity. Look at all this liquidity. Look at all this liquidity. I wish I would have thought a little bit more about that. And I could have literally just waited for this candle to close. And even if I wasn't confident, just move my stops to break even and just let this trade run for another 100 points and cash in another $3,000 in profit. But yeah, those are the trades that we took today. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I got to go to the pool. We're going to celebrate this win today. Final update on where we're at for our profit goal. We had a really big losing day yesterday, which I didn't even want to make a video about because I did horribly. Total profit, we are at 11,361, including the combines out of 30,000. So we only need to profit 21K more, 7K per account, 6K per account. Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah. Anyways, I'm feeling pretty good about the goal. I've done some writing on our 10K goal, and I'm feeling pretty confident that we're going to hit that by the 30th, which is Monday. It's the last trading day of the month. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe even it can be 3 max payouts, which would be 5K per account. But anyways, I'll see you in the next video.